Well, welcome back to Life on Cars. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here in the UK. It's finally stopped raining. It's rained pretty much for probably nearly 2 weeks, pretty much constantly. It's finally stopped, and I can get the garage doors open and carry on. Regulars on the channel know that I've been doing the wheel bearings on the Jag. So I was laid underneath the car last night, making a start on the other side wheel bearing, on the driver's side, and I've noticed a fault on the suspension, which I'm going to show you today. And I think it's a case of the majority of the suspension components, for example upper and lower control arms, are probably the originals on my car still. So I guess they've done well. What are they now, 17 years old? Anyway, let's get the garage door open and I'll show you what I found. Wow, look at that, we've even got some clear sky poking through the clouds there. Lovely. I've got my dad's old jumper on as well, so when the jumper comes out we know it's serious work time. Just put my tea down so I can open the door. So yeah, I just made a start on the driver's side rear wheel bearing last night. Same procedure as on our previous repair video for the other side. And let me bring you in and show you what else I've discovered. Let's just get my homemade outdoor security light. Do you like this? I made this. It was basically two knackered outdoor security lights that had broken sensors, so they were flicking on and off. So I took the lights to bits and made them just come on permanently when I plugged them in, and they're great for lighting up jobs. So as you can see there, we have a completely knackered bush in the bottom arm there. It's split, and it's basically starting to separate. So that's not good. So it's going to be a case of it needs a new bottom arm. So I'm going to get one of those ordered up, and that'll be to change out on today's episode. But you know what this means, guys? If we've got more work to do, we can crack out Millie. Yes, I've named my new impact gun Millie, and it will be making an appearance on this job, that's for sure. So I've decided the best way to tackle this, I might as well take the hub off, as I'm planning to do anyway for the bearing, and then once the hub's off and out of the way, I'll be able to get in a little bit easier to release the bottom control arm there. So you'll join me in a minute when I've got the hub off, and we can get cracking with taking the lower control arm off. You know, in episode 1 on the wheel bearings, where I was talking about spinning the wheel and you get a roughness, and I couldn't spin the wheel properly on the Jag with it being rear wheel drive and all that malarkey. Well, you might remember on episode 1 when I spun the wheel bearing, when I'd got it off, we were getting a faint noise, and I said I've heard worse. Well, I'm kind of really pleased. This side is a lot worse. So I found the main culprit of my rear bearing noise, if you like, that I was getting on this Jaguar. This bearing is absolutely shot. So let me spin it for you, and then you'll hear exactly what I'm on about. Absolutely knackered that. You imagine that noise being transmitted through the car once you get over 20 miles an hour. So there you go, completely knackered rear wheel bearing on the driver's side, rear. So with the hub being off, it's going to be a lot easier for you guys to see what's going on to change this bottom arm, which is good for the video. So we'll need to tackle this anti-roll bar link rod. Now experience tells me that these are always a bugger to get off, and the chances are that this will just spin, and then I'll have to probably put some mold grips behind here, and it'll be a right carry on, and I'll probably end up ripping the boot. So I've actually ordered a new one of those as well. It makes sense to replace the anti-roll bar link rod. I mean, they're only an extra 30 quid anyway. So just noticed that's got Jaguar written on it there, so this is the highly likely to be the original arm on this XK. So yeah, so we need this off. We need the strut lower bolt removing. So Millie can help me with that. Millie, the impact gun's going to whip that out. It's probably not going to be able to get the impact gun in over here though, because there's no room. It'll be sockets on her breaker bar, and especially on the inside, because that bolt there is going to be quite tricky to get to. And if you look on this one over here, the nut is right up against the subframe. So I hope there's enough room for that nut to clear. I guess we can get it to a certain point and then push the bolt that way, and then we'll be able to get the nut off. So I've soaked these in WD. They've been soaking for a while. So we'll get started. I think we'll tackle this anti-roll bar lower bolt first and see what happens. I'm almost sure this will just spin. Okay. By the way, never use chrome sockets with an impact gun like what I'm doing. But unfortunately I don't have a 15mm impact socket, so I'm going to risk using a chrome one. You know, since buying this, I've realised I'm going to have to invest in a few more impact sockets, because I only have a small selection. So let's see what happens here. Well, there was me expecting the whole thing to spin, and Millie the impact gun's just whipped it straight off. So probably could have got away with not buying one of them, but I bought one now, so it will get changed. I'm going to tackle this back one next. 18mm and a 21mm nut on the other side. I'm going to leave the shocker bolt till last, because the whole thing will drop obviously. Just trying to get a good purchase on the back of the nut. That's good news. It's coming loose. The reason I've got to use spanners on the inside is there is a level sensor in the way as well. On some cars, the bolts that go through suspension arms like this, they seize solid into the sleeve of the bush, and then it becomes a nightmare. But this one is nice and free. I've been impressed with the condition of the bolts on this car so far, doing jobs. They seem to come out no bother at all. So this one's nearly off. Potential problem, guys. This bolt does not have the clearance to come all the way out. It's hitting the chassis. Now, whether we can just put a bit of an angle on this when we get the other bolts out, enough for this to come maybe past this wheel arch liner, but it's actually hitting the chassis there, so that could be a potential problem. Anyway, we'll get the other one slackened off, see what happens. So this isn't a brilliant design because you can't get a ring spanner onto the nut. You've got to go open-ended on this end because you can't get a spanner past the subframe, but you can get a ratchet and an 18mm on the other side. So let's see if we can get this loosened off. Well, it's loosened a bit. Let's see if we can get a bit more. Seems to be some sort of metal locking tab as well. Let's move around. Bit tighter than the other one, a bit more rusted up, I think. Bolt looks in good condition. There we are. There's the bolt out. So there's only this shocker bolt and this one, which is still refusing to come past. I was looking at that and I was just thinking, surely Jaguar have not designed this where you have to drop the subframe down to get this bolt out. Surely not. And as I was looking at it, I've realised Jaguar have quite cleverly put a flat on one side of the bolt. Can you see that? It's got a flat edge. So if you line that up with where it was hitting the chassis, then it will, I think it will just slide past. Yes, it's going to come past. You just have to pull the inner wheel arch cover forward, and then if you line that flat up, I think it's going to come out. Still a bit tight up against the chassis. I've decided to take the bottom shocker bolt out now with Millie, and after that hopefully the arm will manoeuvre so I can just get that final bolt past the chassis. So let's get this whipped out. So you can see what's happened now, the whole thing's dropped. Just got this stubborn bolt to try and get past the chassis. What a stupid idea. Ah, there we are. Yes! Out! So there's our perished old knackered bush that you can see there. Now it's off the car, a bit better. Yeah, it's on its last legs, that, and it surprisingly though, it's not got a huge amount of play in it. It's got some free play in it, but it's still hanging on in there. But you can see there the rubber's completely gone around the edges. So yeah, it's not done bad, has it? I guess for an original part, is it does mean that I can get into this subframe a lot easier now that the bottom arm's off, and I can have a really good scrape off around here, clean up and put some more wax oil on and get to the to this side as well where the arm bolted in. I can get around here and put some wax oil along here as well, just to prevent corrosion. Wire brush on the end of the drill now for a bit of cleaning. You know, I was thinking if that bottom arm's lasted 17 years, I've just been looking at online to see what's available, and it looks like the Lem Forder ones are the ones that were the original fit, or if you like, the original equipment manufacturer. So I think I'm going to go for some decent quality ones, with them being the rear and the bottom arm, all that torque and brake horsepower going through those. I think that they need to be good quality. You can get cheap ones, but is it really worth it for a few extra quid? Might as well get the top quality ones. So they're on order. But yeah, I'm just going to spend a bit longer with this wire brush while I can get into the bits that I couldn't get to before when I wax oiled it, and then we can lash some nice wax oil in there. And then I do need to do the same on this side that you saw me do on the video on the other side wheel bearing. I need to clean all the reluctor teeth off on the drive shaft, because the drive shaft's in a bit of a mess on the end. So yeah, leave me to it, guys. I will carry on cleaning up. Show you where I've got up to so far. So you can see I've got a bit of a jigsaw developing here. But anyway, yeah, so there's my new bearing installed in the hub. So that's ready to go back on. The only problem I've got with this one, which I'm probably going to tackle before it goes back together, you can see there the ABS sensor is still in. I ended up disconnecting it from the harness. And the reason for that is that the bolt is C-solid. So I think while it's off, I'm probably going to have to drill that bolt out and put a new bolt in, because it'll be a lot easier than having to do that when it's back on the car if I ever get a sensor failure on the back. So yeah, that's a shame. I can tell it's going to snap if I try and turn the nut any further, so I'm probably going to have to drill it out. But hey ho, apart from that, the hub's ready. I've just blasted a bit of undercoat on the inside of the old disc because it was looking a bit rusty, so that just needs a top coat. And then I've done the drive shaft like I did on the other side, so I've cleaned all the teeth up, given it a blast of paint. That was just going off. And as you can see under there, I've been busy with the wire wheel, and I've wire wheeled off all the subframe around where the bottom control arm goes in. So that's going to get a coat of wax oil now. You know, a few people have said to me, are you going to drop the subframe out and get it powder coated? Well, you know what? That would be a huge job to do laid on your back in the garage. You really would need a lift to be doing a job like that. And after power wire wheeling all that off, it is very solid. The subframe on this car, it's solid. It's just untidy, you know. So I think, you know, I'm just going to wax oil it as best I can. I mean, if it was an E-type Jag, I'm not saying there's anything, you know, this car's special to me, but if it was an E-type Jaguar or something like that, then yes, you know, I'd probably be looking at rebuilding the whole rear suspension on it. But I don't think that's necessary. It's just going to be one to preserve, so for now, and dropping that subframe out would be a big job. So I'm just going to get the wax oil out and give that a damn good liberal coating. Got my wax oil standing in hot water. I found that's the best way to just get it a bit more runny, so it goes on a bit better. Love this stuff. Something very satisfying about wax oiling, putting wax oil on underneath cars. I've always found it very therapeutic. I don't know if it's the smell of it, which I like, or what, just the satisfaction of lashing it on. Yeah. Well guys, hope you enjoyed that video. I'm going to do this suspension arm in 2 parts just to keep the length of the video reasonable. I've gone as far as I can today. I've got the parts on order and they should be here sometime next week, so we can get the job built back up. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you again very soon with part 2 for the suspension on the Jaguar, and there'll be plenty more content after that as well. Give me a like, give me a subscribe if you're new to the channel, and stay safe and stay well. See you again very soon. Bye bye now.